Let's talk House of Guinness. Wow, there's a lot of very mixed reviews to sift through for this series. I mean, I've discussed series with divided reviews in the past, but this one, well, all I can say is sit tight. We've got a lot to cover. Let's dive into the controversy behind Steven Knight's newest series, House of Guinness, and whether or not it's accurate. Okay, so before we dive into the controversy behind House of Guinness, let's first discuss what this show is all about. Well, it's essentially a family drama that depicts how the iconic Irish beer brand came about. Created by Steven Knight, who you may remember from Peaky Blinders. With only 8 episodes and less than 8 hours of content, it's a super quick binge, but somehow has stirred up a huge amount of bad press. The series follows the 4 adult children of the head of the Guinness brewery, Benjamin Guinness, who was once the richest man in Ireland. His 4 children, Arthur, Edward, Anne, and Benjamin, struggle to take power for themselves following their father's death, while also dealing with the religious and political struggles between the Catholics and Protestants in the 19th century. In an utterly shocking, borderline frustrating conclusion, House of Guinness Season 1 ended on a cliffhanger. Patrick Cochrane fires a gun during Arthur Guinness's public rally, but whether or not it hits its target is left a mystery. Some suggest that through historical context, we can assume that Patrick did in fact miss or struck another unfortunate victim. But one thing is for sure, the House of Guinness series was truly captivating from beginning to end. So, is it all true? Does House of Guinness accurately portray what went down in the building of the Guinness Empire? Well, according to an executive producer of the series, Ivana Lowell, the stories were in fact based on those passed down in the family. However, the actual Guinness family is torn over this very topic. In an interview with Tadum, Steven Knight did in fact admit that the entirety of the series is not completely accurate. But then again, what historical TV series is? Knight stated, "What I had to do is take things that these family members did, things that they said, achievements they made, mistakes that they made, and use them as stepping stones. Then," he said, "I had to fill in the gaps myself." To add interest to the series, Knight added a decent amount of criminal and political intrigue to the story. While this is surely to be expected, some members of the Guinness family weren't too happy. In an interview with The Times, Molly Guinness, Edward Guinness's great-great-granddaughter, called the series unjust, stating, "The more I watched, the more indignant I became." Yikes. On the other hand, remember that executive producer I mentioned earlier, Ivana? Well, get this. She's the cousin of Desmond Guinness and helped to come up with the idea of the series. Apparently, while watching Downton Abbey with Desmond and a few other family members, she thought to herself, "Our family is so much more interesting and eccentric." Regarding the series' accuracy, she stated, "My grandmother Maureen and her 2 sisters, Eileen and Una, known as the Glorious Guinness Girls, could have a whole series based on their outrageous antics." Lowell continued, "These are the stories that I've always heard, but it's a drama, not history, so Steve was free to invent." Alright, aside from the backlash from some members of the Guinness family, House of Guinness has gotten some serious critiques from its Irish audience. The Guardian's Irish correspondent, Rory Carroll, came out with a statement flat out saying, "Irish critics hate it. They hate the depiction of Ireland's history, hate the dialogue, hate the costumes, hate the lighting." Netflix announced that it was the first show to have Irish subtitles, and still, Irish critics hate it. Another review from the Irish Times wrote that the show had a rudimentary understanding of Ireland's experiences of colonialism and marked the obvious concern that Steven Knight is getting his mitts on 19th century Irish history. Keyboard warriors have taken to Twitter criticizing actor Louis Partridge's accent, writing, "If you are Irish and you can watch House of Guinness without rolling your eyes out of your head at the offensive leprechaunisms, butchered accents, and witful disregard for history, then I am 100% judging you, and you need your passport put in timeout." Whew, that's a lot of bad reviews, and the crazy thing is, I didn't even list all of them. TikTokers, the Irish Examiner, and the Irish News have all bashed the series, both for its inaccurate portrayal of 19th century Ireland and its people, as well as the show's quality of storytelling. While Ivana didn't seem to mind that Knight had to fill in the gaps of the family's history, another critic claimed that Hollywood doesn't need any more popular history turned fiction. going as far as to call it dangerous. Aside from the storytelling aspects of House of Guinness, the show's Irish audience also came for the series' costume design. A Reddit user commented, "Who did the costume design? I'd like to have a word with them. Green doesn't equal Irish. Why are all the Fenians wearing literal Spirit Halloween leprechaun costumes?" Despite what we've just discussed, House of Guinness actually has a really solid lineup of reviews. The series' first season currently has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, while the critics' consensus gave it raving reviews, stating, "Overflowing with dynastic intrigue and the rough-hewn grit that distinguished creator Steven Knight's previous historical dramas, House of Guinness goes down smooth like a silky pint." Similarly, House of Guinness currently stands at a 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb, which is pretty good for a TV show if you ask me. From what I saw, a lot of the IMDb user reviews essentially say the same thing. As long as you don't compare it to Steven Knight's previous project, Peaky Blinders, it's an enjoyable watch. Which is honestly fair. Peaky Blinders has proved to hold its own against its competition, so I wouldn't expect an 8-episode miniseries to compete, as of yet. So, which reviews should we believe? Well, as they say, art is subjective. As someone who isn't Irish, I can't say whether or not the series accurately depicts 19th century Ireland. What I can say is that I personally agree with Ivana. Steven Knight had to fill in the gaps, and the product was very entertaining, which, at the end of the day, is his job. The Guinness family, or at least parts of it, were happy with the final product, so am I. While the series may still have some viewers to win over, it certainly helped out Steven Knight in his career. After the first season of House of Guinness premiered, Knight secured a deal for 2 seasons of a Peaky Blinders sequel, and he doesn't plan on leaving 19th century Ireland anytime soon. In an interview with the Irish Mirror, Steven Knight said, "We are going to do season 2 and 3 and 4. We are going to do this all the way to the 1960s. So, despite the totally mixed reviews, House of Guinness ain't going anywhere. House of Guinness is here to stay, and I couldn't be more thrilled. Steven Knight's done a great job with the series, but hey, maybe the critics about costuming, character, and even lighting will help him improve, so the series can come back even stronger for seasons 2, 3, and 4. What did you think of this House of Guinness analysis? We've talked about the critics' reviews, but what about yours? Are you excited to see the series return for a second, third, even 4th season? What were your thoughts on the cliffhanger for the season 1 finale? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more theories just like these. Thanks again for watching ScreenRant, and I'll see you in the next one.